What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Base Damage. Today, the first of many Hololive decks in the works, focusing on Hoshimachi Suisei for this one. One of my favorite VTubers from Hololive, and now that she has both a level 3 combo and a level 1 combo, I figured, you know what, I'm just going to make a deck focused mainly on her. I did have to fill out the deck with a couple non-Suisei cards, but luckily I was able to get them all to just be Sora instead of like having to grab from like every single, like any other girls for the most part. There is a Kanata in here, and I'm going to explain my reasonings like for the option between this or the other level 1 in a little bit here. But let's go ahead and jump right into the deck profile. It is blue-green. Obviously, the first hurdle, if you wanted to build this yourself, is going to be this level 3 Suisei right here. This is probably one of the more expensive ones from Volume 1. Obviously, the level 3 Marin is going to be the most expensive one, but this is, I think, the second most expensive one for a good reason. Hope you picked him up while you could. But this is Towards the Future Together Hoshimachi Suisei. It's a 3/2/8/5. This is such a a really good card. If you have 4 or more Hololive characters, this gets -1 level while in your hand and can be played from your hand without fulfilling color requirements. You don't have to run blue. You can run this in a mono red deck, a mono green deck. It doesn't matter. As long as you meet the early play conditions, you can summon it without having to meet the color requirement, which is honestly just makes this all the better. During your turn, it gets 500 power for each of your other Hololive characters. So during your turn, with a full field, assuming you meet the conditions to early play as well, she's going to be a 10/5, which is fucking fantastic. And when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can discard a card to put the top card of your clock into your stock. So stock healer like that is really powerful. And obviously for the Waifu deck, we had to put 4 copies of it in here. 4 copies of Wishing for a Future with You, Hoshimachi Suisei. This one was from the premium booster, so I was like, oh, we got another level 3 to work with. It's a 3/2/10K. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can draw up to 1 card, and so it replaces itself, and she gains 2k power for the turn, which is significant because she does have to reverse for her other effect. When the battle opponent becomes reversed, you can pay 1, pitch 1, burn 1. So just a little bit extra burn, just to have in case you like just need a little bit of an extra off finisher. The other level 3, this is from Volume 2, and this is kind of what brings the whole package together. And this card in particular, I actually want to do another build focused with this as the top end, because I realized one of the effects up here is actually way more broken than like a lot of people were thinking. So this 3/2/10K Stellar into the Galaxy Hoshimachi Suisei is a heal 1 on play, always good. And at the beginning of your attack phase, if Comet, which is this pants trigger right here, her looking awesome. I love the art for this. It looks like it's straight off like a magazine thing, so it's like really cool. But it's a 1k1 pants trigger, so it's always good. If you have that in play, and this card is in your center stage, choose one of the following effects and performance. I'm actually going to list the second one before we talk about the first one. The first one is actually way more powerful than people realize. So the second one first, which is going to be, this card gets the following ability until end of turn, which is on attack, pay 1, pitch 1, burn 2. Just really cool. Since it doesn't have to reverse, it's a little bit better than the other one, than the other level 3 Suisei, but it also has to work off climax combo and everything. That's whatever. The first effect that you can choose to do is you may put all of your opponent's characters into their memory. And if you do, put those characters in separate positions of your opponent's stage. Now, the reason I say this is way stronger than people are like thinking about is because there's going to be an upcoming deck, if it's not already out by the time this deck profile is posted, with Overlord. The Nazarick Volume 2 is going to be showcasing a very powerful combo with a level 3 Ainz that can be early played, can gain hex proof, makes it so he can't be reversed, and is just able to, like, he puts markers underneath himself, and like he gets really fucking huge. Now, he can't be targeted, but this is a stage-wide effect that you can just make all of your opponent's Ainzes go to the memory. They lose those lingering effects, like the hexproof. He can't be reversed by battle, neither can his battle opponent, so you can't use anti-change reversers to get rid of him. Stuff like that. He loses all of those lingering effects, any markers he would have, and stuff like that. And then you get to take like the annoying assist characters that are giving him all these effects to begin with, put them into the front stage and run them over if you wanted. You know, it kind of depends on what your game plan is for that, but it gets rid of a lot of annoying lingering effects like that. And even more so, we're going to skip to level 2. That was it for the level 3s, but we're going to skip to a level 0 first, and that is this 0015 reticent sushi chef Hoshimachi Suisei. Specifically the second effect here. We'll go ahead and say both. When you play a climax, you can give a character 2k power till end of turn, which is relevant for the level 1 Suisei, just saying. But when you play the Pants Trigger Comet, you can pay 1 and sack this if your level is 2 or higher to summon the level 3 Suisei from your hand. So you can early play this Suisei at level 2 when your opponent has the Ainzes out and everything, and just use that first effect to swoop them all off the field, and then swoop them. They come back in, and then you just run them over, because then they've lost all of their lingering effects and everything. I just wanted to point that out, and this is like a 50-cent rare, if that. It's probably cheaper than that, to be completely honest. I'm not going to worry about price point for this, because of for this deck, like I do for a lot of the other decks, mostly because of this level 3 right here. It's like there's no point. But I just wanted to point that out really quick, where this level 0 can early play the level 3, swoop all of your opponent's bullshit off the field. They come back in wherever you want them to be, and they've lost all of those markers and lingering effects. It's just something I really wanted to highlight, and I don't think people are taking advantage of that as much as they should be. That's just me. Wanted to throw that out there. Continuing on with the level 2s, we have A Step Towards the Future Hoshimachi Suisei is a 2/155. During your turn, she gains 1500 power for each of your other Hololive characters, making her, with a full field, would be plus 6000, so she would be 11/5. Kind of sizable. I wish she was a little bit bigger, but it's whatever. This one's kind of a backup for, in case you're not able to like early play the other level 3 Suisei just yet. This is just kind of a little filler for that. We don't use the second effect because we don't have the Aqua or the Toa that it combos with for the second effect, so I'm going to skip it. At the beginning, the last effect is at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase. You can pay 1, pitch a card, return this to your hand. If you do, choose one of your other Hololive characters and return it to your hand. So something that you could do is, if you are able to play both this and the early play level 3, or even this level 3 for the climax combo at level 2, you could use this effect if you see, oh, my opponent's definitely going to run these over. I want to be able to play them again next turn. Use this effect to bounce them back to hand, and then you can summon them again next turn. For what I feel is a pretty decently low cost. So, lastly for the level 2s is, I feel this was very much relevant. Hoshimachi Suisei, Who Grants Wishes, is a 2/1/500, but it is a 2500 backup. When you use this card's backup, you can discard any 2 cards from your hand to choose one of your opponent's characters with a level higher than their level and put it on the bottom of their deck. So bottom deck anti-change backup is very, very good. Felt it was you definitely had to include 2 copies of this. So very good to have. Then that is it for the 2s. To the level 1s, we had the last couple backups right here. We had to include some more Suisei backups. This one is a 1/1/2500 green backup, just for the heck of having it. So 2 copies of that. This is where we get into a couple non-Suisei cards, which is perfectly fine. I have 4 copies of this one in the deck in real life, but I wanted to include this Kanata as well. I felt it was worth mentioning, and we'll get to that in a second here. But this one that I run 4 copies of personally, but I put 2 for the deck list, is A Step Towards the Future Tokino Sora, is a 1/045. During your turn, she gets 1000 for each of your other Hololive characters in your backstage, meaning she can become a 65. And when your opponent's climax is placed in their climax area, you can send this card to your stock. A little bit extra stock production, really, really nice there, especially if you need to be able to pay for backups, or you want to try to have as much as you possibly can for later. It's just really good to have. So the other one, which I'm going to skip the climax combo level 1 for a second here to talk about this other Kanata. You can do any 4-card combination of this or the Sora level 1. This 1/035 Kanatart, how it's pronounced for like hashtags is like really weird. But Amane Kanata, this gets 500 power for each of your other Hololive characters, so she would become a 1/055 with a full field. When this card attacks, if the character facing this card is level 2, this gets plus 6k power until end of the turn, which would make her an 11/5, which is fairly sizable. That could help get rid of potential early play targets if you're dealing with Nino, a little bit more buffing, and she can even deal with some Alice shenanigans. So I kind of wanted to point this card out because, you know, all the level 1 cards are green anyway. If you depending on like your locals, or if, you know, just however you wanted to build the deck, you could include copies of this as opposed to the Sora, but I went with the Sora mainly just because of the stock production effect is really nice. So then we get to the level 1 climax combo towards the Shining Stage Hochimachi Suisei. This is from the trial deck for the 0th gen, just wanted to point that out. It's a 1/04k. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, this gets 3k power for the turn, making her a 7k, and she combos with a gold bar, this 1k1 gold bar right here. So she's gonna be an 8k for her when she attacks and everything, the turn that you do the combo, which is very significant because she does have to reverse. So when the card's battle opponent becomes reversed, if you have the gold bar in play, you can salvage back a character from your waiting room and return it to your hand, or a particular Hololive 0th generation event, but we don't run the event, just figured I had to state it. But because you do need to reverse for the combo, it just is really nice to be, due to the fact she gets like 8k. The other level 0 here could bump her up to a 10k before anything else, which is really nice. But we are going to go to the level 0s now. I know I already talked about this one, but we got a couple other ones to talk about. There is this one right here, this Amnesia Takinosora, which is a 00500. This one in particular is from the trial deck as well. It specifically gives the level 1 Suisei an extra 1000 power. So just having it be a little bit bigger, you know, that way it's like a 5k defensively, but it's a 9k offensively before anything else, which is really nice. But the Brainstorm effect is your typical trial deck Brainstormer. Like I said, I wish there was a better Suisei Brainstormer that I could have put in here instead. But because this works with the level 1, I figured this could work. There is another level 0 Sora Brainstormer that specifically can encore back 0th gen, which is all of Suisei. So if you don't want to run this one, I would recommend running that one in particular. It's just a way better, it's a way better Brainstormer. This is your typical pay 1, tap self, mill 5 for each climax draw card. The other one I think is Salvage. I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's a much better one for its other effects as well. So because it synergizes with the entirety of the deck. Like I said, even though Kanata is 4th gen, but like I said, if you're not running that and you're running this instead, the entire deck is 0th gen at that point anyway. Next is Studying Hoshimachi Suisei. It's a 004k. It's just an oversized level 0, but we needed to have some kind of like, you know, level 0 starters. You can't play event cards or backup from your hand while it's on the field, so it's just kind of whatever. It's just there for a beat stick. 4 copies of this Wishing for a Future Together with You. This one is from the premium booster as well. It's a free runner. It's a 002k free runner. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you can move it to an open position of your center stage. I'm very surprised this has not got a bigger price tag than what it does, but I also know the premium booster had all sorts of different arts. The higher rarity of her probably is a little bit more expensive, but it's still a good free runner, and just wanted to include copies of it, just stating. And lastly, since we already talked about the other one, we'll end it with this one right here. This hashtag Hoshimachi Gallery Hoshimachi Suisei is a 002k. When your other Hololive character attacks, this gets 1000 power till end of turn. Not so relevant, but it does happen every now and then. And when this card is put into your waiting room from the stage, you can pay 1, pitch a climax, and if you do, choose a climax in your waiting room, return it to your hand. So you on death get to grab back a climax to potentially set up for the next turn, which you do have pants and gold bar in here. So it really just depends on which one you need at the time, but being able to have the option of being able to filter out and grab the other one, depending on your situation, is very, very nice. But 9 times out of 10, you don't even need to use this effect. I just kind of wanted to include it. It's just a neat little effect, a little bit extra, a little bit of spice, as the kids like to say. But with it, that's going to be it, because lastly, we have the 4 on stage and 4 comets. So once again, this art is so fucking pretty. I love it. But Suisei is one of the most fabulous ones in Hololive to me, and I very much like her. So had to make this. Shout outs to Nothing But a Fan. I doubt you're watching this, but if you do, just I understand, brother. But yeah, thank y'all very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want. If not, hey, it's cool. Thanks for stopping by to check out the deck profile. There are a lot of other Hololive decks incoming. I'm going to literally be recording 3 more right after this. I have so much planned. So I've got so many built-ins just Very fun. I'm going to try to intersperse it and have other deck profiles come out in between, but we have several coming down the pipeline, and even more that I've been brewing while I've been on the road. So anyway, thank y'all very much, and we will see y'all on the flip side. Peace out for now.